AI agents. Okay, so you hear this term everywhere, right? But what does it actually mean for you or for your business? Well, we're going to cut through all the hype. We're going to break down what they are, what they do, and this is the most important part, we'll give you a super simple way to figure out the absolute smartest place to get started.
And look, this isn't just some buzzword for the future. There's a real urgency to this stuff. I love this quote from Josh Pocock. AI agents are not just the future, they're the present. He's saying the time to act is now. So if you want to get ahead of the curve, you just gotta understand how these things tick. Let's dive in and look at the anatomy of an agent.
All right, so what is an AI agent? I know, it sounds super complicated, right? But here's the secret. Every single agent, I don't care if it's a simple little chatbot or some super powerful data cruncher, they're all built from the same three basic parts. Let's pull back the curtain and see what's inside. Okay, this really lays it all out. Think of it like a person. First, you've got the brain. This is the core engine, the large language model that does all the thinking and reasoning. Then you've got its memory, right? This is what lets it remember your past conversation so you're not starting over from square one every single time. And then, and this is the real game changer, you have the knowledge base. This is like its own private specialized library that it can pull from, full of your company's specific internal data.
So how do all these pieces, the brain, the memory, the knowledge base, how do they actually work together? Well, it's through a process with a fancy name, Retrieval Augmented Generation, or just RAG for short. But forget the jargon. The open book exam analogy here is absolutely perfect. The AI's brain is like this brilliant student, right? But before it answers your question, it gets to peek at its own private textbook, that's the knowledge base, to find the exact right information. That's the magic trick. That's how it can talk about your company's internal data like it's been working there for 20 years.
Okay, so now we know what an agent is made of. Now for the fun part. What can they actually do? Where are we seeing these things in the wild? Let's take a look at 6 main types of agents that are completely changing the game for businesses right now. First up, the customer agent. And I guarantee you've already run into one of these. You know, when you're talking to the AI at a Wendy's drive-thru, or when a chatbot for IHG hotels is helping you plan a vacation, that's it. The whole goal here is to make the customer experience way smoother, faster, and just smarter. Next up, we've got the employee agent. Think of this one as a new digital teammate for your actual employees. It's an internal productivity machine. So at a place like Commerzbank, it's taking care of all that boring, tedious call documentation. At Uber, it's summarizing long customer chats for the service reps. The bottom line here is simple. It takes the grunt work off people's plates so they can focus on the stuff that actually requires a human brain.
Then you have the creative agent, and honestly, some of these numbers are just mind-blowing. Look at Kraft Heinz. They used a creative agent to take a marketing campaign that normally took 8 weeks to create, and they did it in 8 hours. No, that's not a typo. These things are absolute content-generating powerhouses, pumping out ads, videos, you name it, at a speed that's just wild.
Okay, for all the tech folks out there, there's the code agent. This is basically an expert sidekick for your developers. At Wayfair, developers using one are setting up their work environments 55% faster. It automates all the repetitive coding tasks, and this is a huge deal, it can even learn and understand a company's specific internal code base. That is a massive advantage. All right, let's talk about the data agent. If your business is drowning in data, and whose isn't? These are your digital intelligence analysts. BMW, for example, uses one to run literally thousands of different supply chain simulations in a digital twin. They take these mountains of raw, overwhelming data and somehow turn them into crystal clear, actionable insights. And last, but definitely not least, we have the security agent. This is your digital watchdog, and it never ever sleeps. At the bank BBVA, it took threat investigation times from hours down to seconds. Think about that. It's protecting a company's most important assets 24/7, at a speed and scale that no human team could possibly hope to match. Okay, wow, so we've just seen a ton of incredible possibilities, right? From customer service bots to cybersecurity watchdogs. But all that potential can be kind of paralyzing. It creates this brand new problem for every business leader out there. With all these options, where in the world do you even start? Yeah, it can feel like you're trying to boil the ocean, but the good news is there's a really simple, really powerful way to think about this. It all boils down to just 2 simple questions. Question number 1 is all about value. Just ask, how much is this actually going to help the business? We call this business impact. Is it going to make you a ton of money, save a massive amount of time? Will it make your customers unbelievably happy? This is your bang for your buck. And question number 2 is all about the flip side, cost. How hard is this thing to actually pull off? That's the implementation effort. Are we talking a lot of time, a lot of money? Do we need to hire a whole team of PhDs to get it done? Now here's where it gets cool. When you take all your potential AI projects and just plot them on a simple grid using those 2 questions, business impact and implementation effort, something amazing happens. They all naturally sort themselves into 4 different zones, and those zones create a perfect strategy roadmap. We call it the AI opportunity matrix. And here it is. Let's walk through this. Up in the top left corner, you've got your quick wins. These are the absolute best. Easy to do, but they deliver big results fast. The big idea here? Start here. This is how you build momentum and trust. Now, top right, you have your big swings. These are tough, they're hard to do, but the payoff is massive, completely transformative. This is what you aim for long term. Okay, bottom left, the nice to haves. Easy to do, but the impact is kind of small. You can do these later, but they're not your main focus. And finally, the bottom right, this might be the most important box on the whole grid. These are the projects you actively avoid. They are incredibly hard to do and give you almost nothing in return, a total drain on your resources. So you see the path this creates, right? It's a clear roadmap to success. You don't just jump into those massive, difficult, big swings. No, you start with the quick wins. You get a few of those under your belt, show everyone how valuable this is, and that success is what gives you the trust, the credibility, and frankly, the budget to go after those huge, game-changing projects. It's such a smart way to approach it. Okay, let's wrap this all up. It's been a quick journey, right? We covered the what. An agent is just a brain, a memory, and a knowledge base. We covered the where. They can be specialists for customers, for employees, for code, you name it. And most importantly, we covered the how, using that simple opportunity matrix to find your quick wins and get the ball rolling. And that leaves us with one final thought. One question that this has all been leading up to. Because now you have the framework. You can use this for anything. So I want you to think about your own work, your own team, your own business goals, and really ask yourself, what's your first quick win?